With the help of HaShem, I want to explain, in my understanding, the depths of the Rachaim HaKodosh. The Rachaim HaKodosh we brought down 2 weeks ago. On the Pasuk that Am Yisrael couldn't hear Moshe Rabbeinu. Mikoitze ruach u'ma'avodo kosher. They couldn't hear Moshe Rabbeinu. Mikoitze ruach va'avodo kosher. They couldn't breathe. Tough work, hard work. They couldn't hear him. And the Rachaim HaKodosh explains that because the Jewish people didn't accept yet the Torah, they were not Bnei Torah, so the pain, the Yisurim, the affliction, the pressure of the being a slave bothered them. It went inside of them, creeped in. And because it creeped in, they couldn't hear Moshe Rabbeinu. Couldn't hear him. So I want to explain in a positive way the Gemara in Sanhedrin Daf Chof Amud Aleph. Everybody knows what Shlomo HaMelech says in Mishlei, in the end of Mishlei, Sheker Achen ve'evel hayoifi ish o yiras Hashem mistisalo. So the Gemara in Sanhedrin has two Iked Amrin to explain this verse. Omar Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachman, Omar Rabbi Yonason. Mai dechsiv sheker achen ve'evel hayoifi ish o yiras Hashem mitra'u u'zgoa. Sheker achen ze doro shel Moshe ve'Yoshua. The generation of Moshe Rabbeinu and Yoshua, they worshipped Hashem, but it's called sheker, false, a lie. That generation, it's a lie. They saw the manna, they had the slav, miracles. So they serve Hashem was sheker, was false. Hevel hayoifi. Hevel means when I go like this, there's hay, some smoke, some steam comes out of my mouth. That's called hevel. Hevel hayoifi, which means it's vanity, but has something in it. It's not sheker. Sheker is totally a lie. Doiro is a doiro shel Chizkiyahu. That's a generation of Chizkiyahu the king. The Gemara says in the generation of Chizkiyahu the king, they checked from the north to the south. They couldn't find even one child that wasn't trained clear in all the laws of Tumah and Tahara, impurity and purity.
Not even female.
Not even female. Everybody knew. But who is it? Isho yiras Hashem. Itisalo. The woman that she's fear of God, she will praise God. She will be praised. Who is this generation that represent the best of all the generations? More than the generation of Moshe and Yoshua, more the generation of Chizkiyahu HaMelech, that he took a sword and he put it in the entrance of the Beis Medrash, and he says, anyone that leaves will be stabbed with a sword. So nobody left. Everybody knew the Torah. Even little babies, even females. Which is the generation which is the best of all generations? The generation of Rabbi Yehuda bar Eloi. Rabbi Yehuda bar Eloi, he was a student of Rabbi Akiva. Omru olav al Rabbi Yehuda bar Eloi, shoyushisho talmidim miskasim betalis achas. To show why the generation of Rabbi Yehuda bar Eloi was the best generation of all, because 6 students covered themselves with one piece of cloth. And Rashi says, She'ani amoyu. They were poor. And even though they were poor, they were learning Torah. Now what does that mean? We know Rabbi Yehuda bar Eloi himself was a very poor man. The Gemara says, in Masechet Nedarim, Daf Memtet Amud Bet 49b, that Rabbi Yehuda bar Eloi was so poor that he had only one piece of cloth. One clothing that he was able to go to yeshiva with, and his wife had to stay at home. And when his wife went to the market, he had to stay home. Was mamish very poor. Yet the Gemara says that it was a lady, a Roman lady, that saw Rabbi Bar Eloi, and his face was shining. And he said, "Why your face is shining? Maybe you have easy business, you lend money with an interest, you raise pigs, which wasn't allowed in those days in Yisrael. What is the reason, or Romans here, what is the reasons that Rabbi Bar Eloi's face was shining?" So the Gemara says the reason was Chochmas Odom Tair Ponov. There's two explanations of the Gemara. One is it that the wisdom of a person makes his face shining. What does that mean? And why his generation, above all generations, they were very poor, yet they were learning Torah and they didn't feel the pain of being poor as 6 guys, 1 talus. What is the secret that if you are a Ben Torah, you don't feel the pain? That's Torah Chaim HaKodesh. The Jewish people, before we accept the Torah, they felt the pain. There was too much pain for them. Pain. But when they accepted the Torah, the best generations of all generations was the generation that Rabbi Bar Eloi, they were very poor, a lot of pain. Romans were controlling the land of Eretz Yisrael. But they are the best generation of all generations. That's what it means. Isha Yirat Hashem. Fear of Hashem, Ita should be praised. This is the generation of Rabbi Rabbeinu. What is it? What is the secret? This is very important. If I see a brocher in the yeshiva that complains about the food, about the room, well, I know he's not really learning Torah. If it was a Ben Torah, he has no problem with the food, no problem with the room, even though we have the best rooms, we have the best food, but means it's not there. If your heart isn't learning Torah, you oisik b'Torah, none of this problem should bother you. And why? The Iglei Tal explains in the Akdoma, he has a problem. How can a person enjoy the Torah? There is a rule, mitzvahs lav le'elos nitnu. The mitzvahs of the Torah are not being given to enjoy. You're not allowed to enjoy the mitzvahs. They're not being given to enjoy. So how can a person enjoy the Torah? And he answers that there are no the pleasure that comes through understanding the Torah, grasping the Torah, the wisdom of the Torah. It's a part, they say in Yiddish, atelt. It's a part of Chochmas HaTorah. It's part of the Torah itself, from the Atzmus HaTorah, from the essence of the Torah. The ano is not an addition. The ano of understanding and grasping the wisdom, the ultimate wisdom of Hashem in the Torah. It's not dover noisov or something added from the Torah. It's part of the Atzmut HaTorah, part of the essence, the intrinsic part of the Torah. It's not a separate thing. And not only you're allowed to enjoy the Torah, the wisdom of the Torah, rather without it, you're missing the essence of the Torah. If somebody's face is not shining from the Torah, means he's missing in the essence of the Torah. So I can check you, I can bring, there's AI, there's machinery, who knows what. I can check with no AI, no machinery. I look at a person's face and I can tell you right away if it's a Ben Torah or not. If it's a Ben Torah, his face is shining. He's happy from the Torah. The happiness of the Torah makes him happy inside. He's happy. But if you see that his face is not shining, Chochmas Odom is not Meir Ponov, means he's not a real Ben Torah. Means the problems of the world got a grip of him. But when a person is really a Ben Torah, that's what Torah Chaim HaKodesh says. Because the Jewish people in Egypt, they didn't accept the Torah yet, so that's why you couldn't hear because we're not Ben Torah. There will be Ben Torah. We only have a problem. All the slavery and the pain were just like floating above them. Wouldn't enter the intrinsic essence of them. Because the intrinsic essence of them, of the Jewish people, was part of the Torah, and Torah makes you happy. Because the intrinsic of the essence of the wisdom of the Torah makes you happy. Pekudei Hashem Yeshorim V'Samchei Lev, they're straight, makes your heart happy, makes you shine. and makes all the problems just float above you, must be that you not have been Torah. So Rabbi Bar Eloi, he was very poor, but he was a live example for his generation, for his students. That even though he was very poor, his face was shining. That the Roman minister, this woman, thought that he's a money lender with interest because his face is shining. Why is he shining all the time? And the answer was what? Chochmas Odom. He was learning Torah. The wisdom of a man makes a person shine. This is a reality. We see Rabbi Bar Eloi, he was a person that always taught the generation how to lift themselves. The Gemara says in Masechet Brochos and other places that Rabbi Bar Eloi says, not like the earlier generation is this generation. The early generations, they used to make the Torah main and work minor. This generation, they work minor, the Torah minor, work the main. The earlier generation, they succeeded. This generation that make the work main and Torah minor, nothing succeed. They don't make the money, they don't become rich, and they don't make money. They both losers. But he was saying to the people, if you make Torah main and work minor, so then what it means Torah main? Torah main doesn't mean in kamut, in amount. Torah main means in your heart, in chashivus and importance. Rachmana liba boiga, what's your heart? Where's your heart? If Torah the main is in your heart, means all of it, you put your hard work, your toil and Torah to understand the thing till the end. You want to know Hashem's word, and you push through with all your strength till the end to understand Hashem's word, and you submit yourself, you meshabed yourself to the words of the Torah till the end. Even in the complex, you don't stop, you go till you understand it, to the nth degree, to the details and all aspects. When a person does that, you have Yiras Shamayim, Yiras Hashem itisalol, none of the pain of sorrows of life just doesn't even bother you. So the Gemara gives an example. Why that the generation of Rabbi Bar Eloi was the best generation from Moshe Rabbeinu and Yoshua and Chizkiyahu? Because 6 guys and no money, like the we call them the Yemenites. There used to be like one book, and you had 6 people all around, and everybody's still reading the same book. They're poor. He had 6 guys rapping with one piece of cloth. It was cold or hot, whatever it was, and they were learning Torah under one piece of cloth. Because they were poor, but they were Torah no problem. Because the Rabbi was a live example of learning Torah with happiness and enjoyment, and his face was shining even though he was poor himself. It was a live example, and that's what he demanded from his students, and that's what his students picked it up, and therefore his generation was the highest level of generation. So we, not pre-Matan Torah, we after Matan Torah. We have the Torah Akdosha. We able, and we have a yeshiva. The yeshiva really gives you all what you need. Yeshiva gives you a place to sleep, a mokum to eat, rabbis, books. Hashem gave you health. We spoke about last night, and right after the shir, Yoel came over to me and he asked me a question. We know that anything in Ma'amad Har Sinai was not a momentarily thing, was really for generation, was a teaching for generation. The fire we spoke about, the fear, when you learn Torah, you have to learn Torah with fear, you have to learn Torah standing, like the Torah standing. We stood up, we have to learn Torah with standing. You have to teach Torah bechinam for free, like Hashem taught us for free, which means all the scenery of Ma'amad Har Sinai. Went into details last night to show it wasn't a Hollywood one-time event, was for generation, forever to learn from it. So the fact that it says that the Jewish people saw the koilos, the voices, the brokim, how can you see a voice? So first of all, they made the koil became like something real. But how can you see if you're blind? Must be if you're blind, you became healed. So all the sick people that couldn't stand up, stood up. The chigrim stood up. The blind were able to see. So how this, for generation, the future to come, will change. Which means if somebody is sick, and he learns Torah, how can he become healed and healthy? That's what he came to ask me. This is a good question, but I do know one thing. The Gemara says in Masechet Eruvin, and I didn't give you an answer then, and I went home, I thought about it. Gemara in Masechet Eruvin says, the Pasuk says, U'lechol besorei marpe. For the entire body, flesh, you get healed. The Gemara says if somebody learns Torah Lishma, so whole his body becomes healed. And the Gemara explains that it goes on the spiritual body. And the Nefesh HaChaim brings it in his book, in Sha'ar Dalet, that if somebody has the shalom, is chayav kores, he deserves a sin, that the punishment is that his soul has to be cut off. How do you do a bypass? Their heart is cut off, the veins, there's no blood running there, it's cut off. The pipes are cut off. How do you do a bypass? If you learn Torah Lishma 3 hours straight, even a person touched a woman, he lived with a woman before he did tshuva, who knows what, while I was doing tshuva back and forth, ups and down, tremendous averos. There's a way to fix it. The Nefesh HaChaim brings it down. If you learn Torah 3 hours straight, ulechol besorei marpe, it fixes, it makes a bypass, it makes a transplant, a bypass, and it heals all the spiritual body. So definitely, Torah heals the spiritual body. What about physically? You have to learn Torah Lishma, maybe learn Torah Lishma can be also fixed physically. That I don't know. I'm not very high for that. But definitely for spiritual, will be fixed. And not only can be spiritually fixed, inside your heart, you can fix all your sorrows. Because when people are depressed from pressures of the world, we learn Torah, you become healed, and your whole body, emotionally, can definitely become healed from the Torah Kedosha, because the Pekudei Hashem Yeshorim Mesamchei Lev.